bit where we ominously stare at the camera and don't say anything.
We wait for some people to arrive.
You know what I really don't like about YouTube?
What's that?
That you don't see the people. Like, you don't see the names of the people.
Mm.
I like that about Instagram, where we could say, hi, X, Y, and Z.
Yes, that was nice.
But they don't tell us that on YouTube.
Wait until the people talk to you in order to know who they are.
They don't want us to know.
It's a secret.
It might be a secret. How has your day been?
My day's been nice, thank you. I went to a wedding. I went to a socially distanced wedding, which was very nice. Congratulations to Lena and Michael, if you're listening later, which I know you said you would be.
Yeah, I really hope you're not listening now. You've got way better things to do. If you're live now, we'll be cross with you.
Yeah. But if you're listening later, then
well done.
It was a very nice day.
And well done on not flubbing your I-dos.
Yeah.
As I hear that you didn't.
No, it all went very well.
Well done on the outfits.
Yes.
Which I've seen on Instagram, and they look
very
awesome.
Very sharp.
Yeah. So what are we doing today?
Today we're answering 31 questions about black sails. Well, maybe not 31 questions, because this is the Toby's News meme that was going around the internet, that so loads and loads of people have been doing it. Obviously it's a 31-day challenge kind of a thing, and lots of them are very 31-day blog type questions. So there's like a let's invent a drinking game and do some doodling and that kind of, so we may have to skip some of them.
Some of them are a little bit more labor intensive.
Well, and a little bit more like I just go away by myself and do this, rather than let's have a jolly chat about it.
Now, as I'm sure you can tell by now, we have bought a light because we thought that might be helpful, but I think it might be a bit of a hindrance on the glasses front.
Hello, Diana. Hello. And we've got my my beautiful custom designed black sails scarf. I really wanted a scarf with Jack Rackham's proper Jolly Roger from the show on it. You could not find it for love nor money.
It was insanely difficult to get, and yeah.
So Michelle, because she's very clever like that, kindly took the screen grab from the show and filled in the whole design so it looks, proper flat, and made this scarf for me on the Redbubble, which you can purchase if you would like one yourself on our Redbubble.
So smooth.
As linked on our website. But yeah, this is Jack Rackham's proper Skull and Crossbones Jolly Roger from the show, because I'm just that cool and nerdy.
She is. It's true. The show, which we'll be talking about.
Which we are going to be talking about. Hello, Vicky. What a surprise to see you here. Thank you. It's one of my favourite things.
We still haven't entirely worked out how we can do the props thing properly.
It's not really big enough, and we haven't got a white screen, which is really what we should have if we're going to continue to do these live things. But it's fine. It's all fine. You can see.
I said we could do it in my room. My room is entirely freshly painted, and there's nothing in it because all of my room is off screen just over there.
That's true.
In a giant pile of, I'm so sad about life and I can't look at it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be looking this way.
It's all been a little bit mad this week. We've had a whole bunch of windows in the back of our house replaced, including both of the windows in Michelle's bedroom. So her bedroom is currently in the living room.
It's now here. I live here now.
And yeah, she's been repainting like a mad thing.
So I cut myself and then I polyfold myself. And I would not recommend.
Yeah.
I would not recommend.
No.
Shall we get started?
Let's get started. Yeah. Why not?
So just for people who are late, do you want to do the what we're doing again on the who it's from and who invented it? And
by @Toby's News on the Twitface.
On the Twitface.
I'm so glad, Diana, that you like Black Sails, that you're looking forward to us talking about it, and that you're enjoying Fathoms Deep. Mad respect for the ladies over there. They do very, very solid, stellar Black Sailsy work.
Also, we haven't done this at the beginning, but I'm assuming from the fact that people are commenting and responding that the microphones are working.
Yes, I assume so.
But let us know if they stop working for some reason. So we are starting off very heavy. The character you would die for.
Jack Rackham. That's the end. That's
no explanation.
I love him.
Nothing.
I love him. I love him more than almost any character who's ever been on television.
Mine's a toss-up between Anne and Max.
Okay.
But I think I have to say Anne because it goes with Jack. Yeah.
She's pretty awesome.
She's the best.
Any particular reason why?
She's the best.
She's the best. Okay.
She's the best.
Okay.
Love her. You see, this is going to be very deep.
Yeah.
We love them.
Feel free to ask follow-up questions if you would like us to extrapolate a little bit on our answers, which may be a little bit on the brief side.
And also any other questions about Black Sails that might not be in our list of Black Sails questions.
Absolutely.
I'm wearing my most piratey outfit.
I'm
really sailory more than piratey.
I'm wearing an orange t-shirt.
It is Halloween soon.
It is Halloween soon.
You're a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's autumnal.
I am wearing this because we are doing 31 questions about Black Sails, and it was also in the 10% of my wardrobe I can currently access.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. The crew you would join.
So, the response to this question is mostly based on the fact that I would make a really, really terrible pirate.
You would be so bad.
So the crew I would join is Jack and Featherstone's crew because they both have a vested interest in surviving, and the survival instinct, I think, is greater than the instinct for adventure or violence. Really, the survival instinct is a stronger instinct than anything else. So I think I would be better that I would get out of the whole thing with my skin intact.
I mean, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't. I would die horribly.
You would
really, really
be dead in like the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'd have to get really good at something that made me completely invaluable to the crew. Like I'd have to get like really good at like navigating or financing.
We are both very decent cooks.
Yeah, something that meant that they didn't want me to have to fight because my skills are so invaluable.
Also, if I've learned one thing from Black Sails, is that no pirate can cook.
That's true. Except Flint, apparently. He does that whole thing.
Of course he can. He can do anything.
He does that whole thing with Silver when Silver like ruins the pigs.
Oh.
And Flint's like, oh, you have to do this and this and this and this. And don't tell anybody I told you how to do that. It's a secret.
But it's because he was a proper man. We should say spoilers for Black Sails.
Yeah, obviously.
It's a bit late, but
yeah,
that's why he knows how to cook.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I agree. I completely concur. Diana would die for Flint and Maddie. Also very appropriate answers. Vicky would also die on her first day on the ship, but it would be worth it if I can look into Flint's eyes for a second.
Aww. How did you learn how to glaze a pig? I don't know.
Flint, not us.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm mostly vegetarian, so I never.
I think this might be your other problem of being a pirate cook. I don't think they like the vegetarian cooking, but also I don't think they had the vegetables.
I would take learning how to butcher something though over having to stab people.
Well, I was going to say you would take learning how to butcher a pig over learning how to butcher a human.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would learn how to do that. I think Flint's just good at everything.
I think Flint's
pretty
good
much.
at everything.
I think anything that he ever attempted to do, he just got good at it because that's the sort of soul he is.
The funniest moment, which actually kind of in thinking about this, like Ruth sent me these questions like 3 months ago or something. We should do that at some point. And I've been kind of on and off thinking about it. And it did kind of very much make me realise that there's not an awful lot of laughs in Black Sails. But now you've said the pig thing, and it's like, that bit is really funny.
I think there's not gags.
No.
It's not like a, oh, ha, 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 that bit. But it's a witty show.
It is a very witty show.
But
I just like, I don't have a moment of going, oh, I laughed so much at that.
Yeah.
Jack doesn't wear his trousers once. That's quite funny.
I think the moment that springs to mind as being actually made me laugh and makes me laugh every time I watch it is the bit right at the beginning of season 2, I guess, where Silver's volunteered to go to the Spanish warship with Flint by himself, and then Silver sort of goes, oh, so now we like slip off, right?
Oh yeah.
That whole sequence.
That is funny.
Yes, that the Flint and Silver trying to take the Spanish galleon. Yeah, the whole thing is hilarious, but particularly the bit where Silver goes, I'm actually going to have to fight them.
Yeah, but he doesn't realise that was genuine rather than a ruse.
Yeah, that bit makes me laugh a lot. And Luke Arnold is freaking fabulous in that whole sequence.
There's always the fruit tit plant scene. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's the most GIF-worthy joke. Jack at the beginning of season 3, I think it's season 3, doing the I have no notes to the harpist cellist.
Oh right,
sitting outside his toilet. Also
yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. No, I mean generally, Jack's good for some laughs.
Toby Schmitz and Luke Arnold had freaking brilliant comic timing. I assume still do. I say had in the show. Meaning, rather than now they've lost their comic timing entirely.
Now they're not funny.
Now they're not funny.
Whatsoever. No, it's not funny.
As performers, really, really fantastic comic timing.
Okay, 3 characters: Shag, marry, kill.
I think you find people in the chat should probably give us 3 characters to shag, marry, kill with.
I thought we were going to have to give them to each other, but yes.
Give us 3 characters. Should we do the next question whilst people are coming up with 3 characters?
Yes. Favorite piece of wardrobe? I like Anne Bonny's hat.
Yes.
Such a good hat.
I loved Eleanor's early wardrobe, actually. The season 1 Eleanor wardrobe, I really, really loved. I loved
my cosplay wardrobe.
Yeah. I loved how sort of historically appropriate they made it, whilst also playing with androgyny and like how reflective it was of her character. I thought that was awesome. Mardi also had some really, really beautiful pieces when she was being a pirate. You know, her pirate garb was just gorgeous.
Hi, Poopadoo. I also just like every single thing Jack wears.
His costuming was the whole costume.
He wasn't, the most stylish pirate in the world for nothing.
Yeah, the costuming for the whole show was just so good. Freaking beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff.
Remember when that video I showed you with all of the costumes on mannequins?
Yeah.
That someone had like in their attic.
I think it was one of the
I think it was like the dude that made them rather than, someone who purchased them all for £1 bazillion on eBay. But just, so pretty. The scene that got you hooked?
I think the scene I remember the first time I was watching through, because season 1, by my estimation, is a little slow to start. It's not bad TV by any stretch of the imagination, but doesn't even kind of hint at the genius that is to come with this show. So my memories of season 1, there's sort of more. There's like little moments that I remember thinking, oh, actually, that's interesting. And early on, there's Flint and Billy in the rowboat with Nassau doesn't have a king, and maybe she needs one. That whole conversation, I remember thinking that is some interesting, powerful stuff that we're playing with. Early on, there was Flint and Vane and Rackham and Gates in the tavern with the making the plan for taking the Urca Gold, for teaming up to take the Urca Gold, all of that stuff was just those were the moments in season 1 where I was just really sold that the show was something very, very special, that kind of elevated it beyond like, this is good fun television, this is interesting, you know, I'm enjoying this. But those were the moments where I was like, oh, holy shit, I think this might be something kind of magical.
I don't think I got any of those moments because basically you'd decided it was the best thing to ever be on television.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's not, you know, I didn't need the TV show to convince me because you'd done the research, you'd done the work. And it was quite weird because you'd seen it all the way through.
I watched it for the first time through with my mum when we were away for a couple of weeks, and we watched the whole thing, binged it properly. And then I rewatched it like a month later, much more slowly. And I rewatched it whilst listening to Fathoms Deep. And so I went through it quite systematically. And then I think I rewatched it with you. I think it was only my third rewatch where I was watching it with you.
And like you did that thing that I think we've all done with television shows that we really love. And basically we know have like some problems, but ultimately are the best thing ever. And therefore, whenever you try and convince someone to watch it, there's that slight like, I know this bit, but like ignore this bit because everything else is going to be so good. And you did so much of that you like literally I had no problems whatsoever with season 1. I thought season 1 was fantastic.
Yeah.
And you'd done so much prep work to convince me that season 1 was going to be like rubbish.
I think it's weird with Black Sails because I think season 1's really good, but because it's so much less amazing than the rest of the show
like once you've seen the rest of the show, totally. But
there's this kind of thing where I was like, this is the best show I have ever seen. This is like a better done television show than I've ever seen. And if you just watch season 1, I think you might think that that's a little bit like, all right, you know, don't get too excited, kind of thing. So I think it's more that, like, it's not like, I
just didn't really have or need a scene to get me hooked because I was going to watch it anyway because, well, I don't think I could still live here if I hadn't. That's the...
No.
Now, shall we do a shag, marry, and kill?
Does anybody want to give us 3 characters?
Any 3 characters. Ideally 3 characters that I will know who they are. Otherwise, Ruth's going to have to play that game where she tells me you weren't Harry Potter or Merlin because I'm an idiot. What would you do share of the Urca Gold? What was the share in the end? Because
we never got explicitly what the share was because we don't know how many people there were on the crew.
I don't know. I thought there was a scene where they actually do the maths.
No.
Okay.
We don't ever find out.
I mean, obviously, like it's a load of money.
I've only got boring answers to this question. I'm too practical to answer this question in a sort of fantastical kind of way. It's like I buy a house and pay off my student loans and like stop working and put money in my pension fund, you know, like depending on how much the money actually would be, you know what I mean? Like do less of my real job and more podcasting.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
We would start a podcasting empire. Have
a really, really, really nicely kitted out studio. That's what we definitely would do. Definitely would do. Make all of this stuff much easier.
Someone came across my Twitter and they were like their film editing, like small business, and they were putting up that they were leaving their place, they were moving premises, and they put up photographs of the current premises, and they were just like, "Oh my god, this is so pretty," and like it was super cheap. And then I realized it wasn't a flat with the studio; it was just the studio space. It's like, well, yes, this is. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like super cheap, but just like for rent in London, it seemed really cheap. So it's because you can't live there. That's why. But yeah. I think that would be cool.
Yeah.
A recording space.
Yeah.
Not on a boat.
No.
I suspect it will be difficult on a boat.
Yeah. Is the character you'd be best friends with?
Which is least likely to murder me? Max or Maddie?
Maddie's a good one. I don't tend to do particularly well with like really ambitious people though. Like I tend to find ambitious people intimidating. Just action with your life. I find that really intimidating. So I'd probably end up being like best friends with someone like which one do you like?
I don't know. Featherstone?
Featherstone, yes, that's Featherstone. Yeah, that's Jack's navigator.
He's lovely.
Yes, he is lovely. He's lovely.
I could be best friends with him.
Yeah.
And like his ambition is really just to settle down.
Yes. Yeah, no, like anybody whose ambition was just like to have a nice meal and a pint in the pub and to not be murdered.
But also while not murdering.
Yeah. No, ideally. Yeah.
You know, the lack of raping and murdering. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Adele and Featherstone, effectively, because
Adele being the girlfriend, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Together would be the best friends to have, I think.
I would happily hang out with them.
Yeah, and there's a reason that they're
also Adele is really cool.
They're the ones who, are okay at the end.
Yeah.
There's, because
they're just normal people.
Yeah, they're all of us. Yeah.
They can just calm down and chill their boats.
Yeah. What's your favourite speech?
You and I will be partners until they put us in the ground.
It's more of a line than a speech.
There's more lines to it. I like it. It's my answer.
I like it too.
Back off. It's just... It's so good.
Yeah. No, it is good. It's good.
The best. What's your favourite speech? Is it speechier than that?
As far as actual speeches are concerned, Flint's final speech, the dragon speech, they tell us to keep away from the darkness and keep their children in the light, that speech.
Why dragon speech?
That's what the Fathoms Deep girls call it, because the speech goes, because in the dark there be dragons.
Oh, okay, right.
Just because I think it's the only use of the word dragon in the entire show, so it's more distinctive.
It's just because, every time anyone on television goes out to do a dragon thing, there is...
that stick in my head are concerned. Jack's "A story is true, a story is untrue."
Ah, that's a good one.
Stays with me more than most.
Jack does a lot of speeches.
I also love Mardy's "I hear multitudes" speech. That's beautiful and beautifully delivered.
She is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Vicky said, I was hoping you'd say that. I get chills just thinking about it. I can literally hear him in my head. Yes, that.
Now, question 10 is the bed you'd sleep in. And I wasn't sure whether they mean a literal bed or whether it's a kind of, walk a mile in someone else's shoes.
I think this the literal bed from the set of Black Sails. I found that question a little odd as well, because I can't think of too many. We spend a lot of time in Max's bed.
Yeah. And Eleanor's bed before that.
But that's Max's bed.
Yeah, because she takes over the street. It's the same bed. And obviously, there is something that's kind of fun about the ship hammocks.
I quite like a hammock,
but I don't think I would like. I don't like a hammock. I love the concept of a hammock, and then it takes me 10 minutes to get into a hammock.
Yeah,
and then I'm bored within 3 minutes, and then it takes me an hour to get out of a hammock without flat being, face planting on the ground.
Yeah,
and I suspect that that's worse on a boat.
I don't think we have another question of that nature though. So, what about your the place you'd the set you'd live in if you had to live somewhere rather than a bed you'd...
Not on a boat.
I like the Maroon Queen's like treehouse
Mm-hmm,
village.
mm-hmm.
I think I'd enjoy a treehouse village.
Yes, I would like to be in a place with less traps.
I mean, yes, obviously.
Obviously, you'd know
the
if you
booby
lived
traps,
there.
ideally.
But
But I think if I had to just
danger.
like lift a house out of the show and put it happy.
You always want a treehouse.
And Mardi had a treehouse with a really, really good library in it. That's my favourite type of treehouse. Treehouse with loads of books.
That's like what I found for you on Instagram the other day.
Yeah.
It's basically a treehouse with a library.
Yeah.
That was literally it. And I quite like Max's room. It's a real bed. It's pillows, duvets. I've been sleeping on the sofa for a week. I've been sleeping on the sofa for a week. Anything that's a real bed. I like a real bed. The maroon camp is epic, but I'm also very attached to Miranda's house. Also, I guess, and I mean, I wouldn't want any of them, but we do like go to London in the past.
Yeah.
And there's some fancy houses
If
there.
you're going to be like literal about it, then yeah, obviously like
the manor house.
The townhouses in one of the townhouses in London would be actually where I would choose to live, because it would mean I wouldn't have to move very far. And all of that stuff. Like, but that's a really boring answer.
Zombie apocalypse. Choose 3 characters as your squad. Now I found this one really hard because there's a really obvious, like your brain wants to pick really obvious characters, and then you realize that they would kill you instantly to get ahead.
It would depend, right? So assuming that you have like the friendship and loyalty of whoever you pick for your zombie apocalypse team, that they're not just randoms, because
Flint would still kill you.
Flint would kill the hell out of you immediately. But Charles Vane,
you are dead weight.
Charles Vane would
not.
I
would absolutely have Charles Vane.
Vane is absolutely, if he was loyal to you, then likewise with Anne. If Anne was loyal to you, then, and I think either Rackham or Silver both have freaking impeccable survival instincts and
also,
track records. They have both lived way, way longer than they had any right to live, and I think that would bode well for
might like osmosis.
Well, yeah,
you might do okay.
They're
off the back
crafty,
of it.
They're smart, and whilst absolutely they might kill me if that was the best way to survive, they wouldn't kill me unless it was the best way for them to survive. Yeah. And to be frank, if killing me is the way to get survived,
they're probably right.
They're probably right to do so. I'd be dead weight in a zombie apocalypse team. So really, as far as they can get me in the zombie apocalypse is further than I'd get on my own.
I'm quite useful now. I can hunt balloons for survival.
Michelle went archerying last week.
I did go arching and I hunted balloons. So that would get me somewhere.
Yes.
Also, I think it's going to be really miserable. I think Jack should be on your team just to make life a little bit less miserable. Yeah. And therefore you have to have Anne. And yeah, I think Charles Vane, 100%.
Definitely Charles Vane. He's the one who might actually get you out of the whole thing alive.
And also he would be totes down with the killing, so you wouldn't have to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. Scene you find most difficult to watch?
Silver losing his leg.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But quite a long way.
Mostly because it's a really long scene.
It is. It's like I've talked about this before, but I have a huge amount of respect for the way Black Sails handles violence and gore generally. That the moments where you're seeing violence explicitly, the moments where you're seeing gore explicitly and blood explicitly are moments where they're saying something with that violence and gore, that it's character driven, it's story driven, it's not gratuitous ever. But I find I struggle because Silver's so very conscious and very aware through it, and there's a sort of torture aspect of it which I find really, really
sorry, we're in London. Car.
I find really, really emotionally difficult. Like, I hate torture sequences.
Yeah.
And the keel hauling is really traumatic, but kind of because he's dead at the end, it's sort of
it takes a really long.
It takes a really long time, and it's the only moment where I think you're lingering maybe a little more than you need to in order to get your point across.
I mean, the keel hauling is also one of those things. Like, I almost found it fascinating. Is not the right word to use, but I didn't realize that keel hauling literally does what he says on the tin.
Yeah, it was sort of historically interesting.
Yeah, and then they did it, and it was like,
yeah, yeah.
And then they did it again, and then they did it again, and it's like, okay, like I got it now. I understood. Stop.
Yeah.
Also, Ambon's fight in the boat. That one's gruesome.
That one's really, really hard to watch.
And again, it goes on a long time, and obviously it has to be as gruesome as it is. But
yeah. No, totally, absolutely. I think though, yeah, I would still say for me, rewatching that, Silver's leg is the only bit that I literally turn my face away from.
I also think like the problem with Anne's fight is that it's so like they do have to show all of it, and all of it is so plot relevant. You know, she has to suffer that much to win, and therefore you have to show it, and therefore you have to live through it, and he has consequences, and you need to see all of that happening for that payoff to work.
Yeah.
Whereas with Silver is like, okay, they're going to cut his leg off. Whether they do that in one stroke or in hacking away for 20 minutes, the end result is the same.
Yeah.
And you could have just told me in text and I would have known. Like, I think that's the difference as well, which makes Silver's worse. Just because it is so, it's like, okay, yeah, they cut his leg off. Like, it's fine. We're done. It's okay, stop.
Yeah,
and then they're not done. They're never done. They go on forever.
Prop.
Do I get a boat?
Sure, you can have a boat.
Because they're most useful. I mean, the entire show looks amazing. I really like the brothel.
That's a set. That's not an object or a prop.
No. I like the snake in the brothel. I don't think there is a set question here, though.
No, I don't think there is.
And it's like what they do with like all the plants and the snake and the staircase. That staircase is actually, I'll have that staircase.
Yeah.
There's a gorgeous staircase. What about you? Oh, the snake. I like the snake.
Anne's hat is sort of an object. I have a lot of time for Anne's hat.
I already picked that earlier. You can't have it.
All the belts. There's some really amazing belts from everybody.
And again, the costuming on that show is just...
It's just impeccable.
I want all of it. But what about a real prop?
I don't know. I'm not really a weapons person.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like all of their yieldy guns, but...
I don't have a kind of...
That's just accurate.
To have a weapon on.
So the cannons are cool as well. The boat cannons are very cool.
Hi, Juniper. Oh, no.
I'm sorry YouTube didn't tell you. Actually,
circus.
YouTube didn't tell me either, because I think I'm subscribed on our YouTube on one of my many, many email addresses. And I don't think YouTube told me either. We'll have words with YouTube. I'm sorry.
That sucks. Well, you're here now. Hello.
We're talking about Black Sails.
We're talking about Black Sails. And you haven't missed loads. We're only on we're on day 13 of 31.
Yes.
We're not doing too well time-wise. So
we never do. No. We never do. I also lost where we are.
Day 13.
Favorite piece of fan art.
Oh, I did actually look this up. This one I prepped for. So go check out Wrecked Fuse, who's on Tumblr, who does the most beautiful oil portraits. I will show you my favorite one, which is of Mardi. I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? It's the most beautiful.
It is very awkward because I also prepped for this.
Oh, did you do the same one? There you go.
Proof.
Yeah. Wrecked Views on Tumblr. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful portraits.
Yeah.
So like characterful. Really, really lovely stuff.
I remember it was one of the first, like this was before I'd actually watched Black Sails, and you just showed me these, and they're just so stunning. And yeah, especially the ones she's done of Mardi, but she also, like, literally all of them are just so good. They're so good.
It's Wrecked WR and then dash Fuse on Tumblr. Go check them out.
It's like WR dash. I was like, what about the rest of the Wrecked?
Wrecked with a WR. I figured they could work out the rest of it.
We'll stick it on Twitter as well.
Yeah, and I've reblogged loads of their work.
So good.
On my Tumblr. So if you follow me and then go to the Black Sails fan art tag, you should be able to find them through that too. Go check them out.
What's the revelation that kept you awake? I mean, realizing what keelhauling was.
Yeah, that one keeps you up at night.
Yep.
I think it's a bit different. I find the wording of that question a little bit difficult because, like, kept me awake kind of suggests that it was like a shock.
Also, you know, I mean, the thing that keeps me awake generally is stuff that I'm unhappy with.
Right, totally. I think the thing that, like, unfolded and kept unfolding and unfolding and unfolding was what happened to Thomas Hamilton. Not so much him and McGraw's relationship, though obviously that was a surprise and not something I saw coming explicitly. Anyway, I didn't think that they would be that explicit about it. I did see the gay coming, but I didn't really... But the gay didn't keep you awake. No, but like the response that Flint had to what happened to Hamilton is the thing that kind of, oh my god, that, and then that, and then that, and then that. So like,
well, he's just realizing that he's doing all of this,
right? But that you go back and watch the earlier episodes, or think about the earlier episodes, think about things that happened in the earlier episodes, and things he said are completely reframed. So that, I think, was the thing that, like, made my brain unspiral a little bit. Made the story unfold most dramatically.
Definitely fell on the floor.
Is kind of just what happened to Thomas Hamilton and what happened to the end of their original plan to save Nassau, and how that panned out and what that means for Flint.
What it all led to, yeah. Because when I read the question, it kind of felt to me like you just meant to say the gay. I didn't see the gay coming.
Right. And or Hamilton's alive at the end, or one of those kind of slightly more
which possibly would have been more of a surprise to me if I wasn't. Shall we let the people in on just how dumb I am?
Okay. I don't know.
Do you remember the first rewatch? The first time I watched the show?
Oh.
Do you want to tell them?
So Michelle didn't realise that James McGraw and James Flint were the same dude.
Like, literally, not just like, you know. We just got this flashback. I realised it was a flashback.
Yep.
But I think we got, because it goes over a couple of episodes as well. And like we finished one episode of flashback stuff, and in between switching to a new episode, I just asked Ruth why we were spending all this time with these new people and how they were going to be relevant to anything. And Ruth explained to me that it was Toby Stephens on the screen and had been before and after he shaved his face.
Same. One beard, one no beard.
So it wasn't so much a surprise that the gay happened. It was more of a weird insert of some gay people.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with the television program we've been watching up to that point.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah.
I think the moment that actually shocked me, that actually caused me to jump up from the sofa and go, oh my God, holy bananas, was Charles Vane's turnaround at the end of season 2. Like the thing that actually made me go, oh my God, was when...
What's the end of season 2?
End of season 2 is...
when he decides to go and rescue Flint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlestown.
So good.
Yeah. So good. That actually...
Yeah. Thank you, Vicky. This is why Vicky is my friend. Vicky says, I mean, the lack of beard can really throw you off. And I appreciate that. I get that.
Some of us more than others.
I'm the only person who would be genuinely fooled if you walked into my life wearing a fake moustache and I'd go, who are you? Never met you before.
So nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Oh, strange person in false nose and moustache.
Yeah. I've genuinely done this to people. But like literally they kind of walked in and I've kind of got, stuck my hand out, gone, damn Michelle, and they're like, yes, we know each other. Ask another question.
Who's an actor who wasn't in Black Sails but should have been?
Yeah, I really struggled with that. I mean, like, there's, actors that I like that should be in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley James should be in everything. I'm sure he would have been absolutely fine in Black Sails, but, I wasn't missing his presence in Black Sails. I'm not trying to miss anyone's presence in Black Sails. Tony Head.
Sure.
He could have been cool.
Why not?
I think he could fit in.
I mean, I'm sure he would have.
He's very
had
good.
He been cast.
He's very talented
in the show.
You could fit in anywhere.
Yeah, it was a pretty perfect cast.
Yeah.
It's like there might be people who sort of go, well, such and such a character could have been played by this other actor, and that would have been like interesting. But there's nobody who I sort of think, what they should have been in Black Sails. Why weren't they in Black Sails?
Yeah. It's really funny. I watched like a cast interview thing where they were answering Twitter and Facebook questions, and one of the questions was, what character would you like to play if you weren't playing your own? And they all gave the Magnus Bane response.
Yeah.
Of, in Shadowhunters, where literally everyone said, like, oh, Magnus Bane would be really cool, but I'd never want to do that because Harrison Jr. does such an amazing job. And everyone said Jack Rackham, except I want Toby Schmitz to be him more than I want to be him myself.
Yeah.
Which is quite cute. So, and I feel
Toby Schmitz should be in all the other shows.
Yes.
Though.
But here's the thing, like, I feel about that.
Flip the question the other way around. What actor from Black Sails should be in
everything?
All the other shows? Toby Schmitz. Toby Schmitz should get all the work. All of it.
All of it.
Yeah. Should appear in just I don't think there's a single thing that wouldn't be improved by just a little Toby. Yeah, just a smidge of Toby. Not that Toby. Not everybody else in the cast wasn't also phenomenally fantastic and should also get lots and lots of work. And I hope they will do when we're allowed
returns to normal
to work.
Tom Hopper's working. He was on a plane to go and be in quarantine somewhere so he could start a job.
They've just released Umbrella Academy 2, haven't they?
Yes, but he wasn't filming that.
No, but like things that he's in are still appearing on the air.
But he is also off to do new things. There's another question that I also struggle with. A piece of jewellery you would risk your life to steal?
None is the short answer to that question.
Obviously, about jewellery.
I would not risk my life to steal anything.
But I couldn't even think of a single piece of jewellery. Mostly what I remembered when we were putting together my Eleanor cosplay is that jewellery seemed like one of those, need to pick jewellery to go with it. And I looked through like a billion photographs and they're all such unassuming little cute necklaces.
She's got a gold pendant that she wears on a string of seed pearls, which I love. I think it's beautiful. That's really lovely. Max has a circlet.
Okay, yeah.
Pearled. Again, that's beautiful. I wouldn't risk my life for any of these things.
No. And I definitely wouldn't risk my life for this, but I like all of Jack Rackham's little scarves.
Yes, sure.
His
But,
hipster scarves.
There's most of these things I probably wouldn't pay more than about 50, 60 quid for, let alone risk my life.
It's also all of Jack Rackham's scarves I could pick up at Camden Market for 50p.
So, yeah, no, there's not a particular piece of jewellery that I lust after.
But yeah, I mostly just couldn't even really remember any jewellery.
Yeah. No.
Other than, Jack scarves.
Like, people wear lots of jewellery. There's lots of, like, rings and...
But it's just not hugely remarkable.
And stuff. But, yeah, no.
Favourite episode?
This is a really difficult question for Black Sails because it's one story. So everything does kind of feed into itself. I have a huge amount of love for, I think it's 308, which is it's the episode that's got Jack in the prison cell with the mouse and the carriage scenes, which are some of my favourite sequences from the show.
Yeah.
Basically, the
Charles Vane on a horse.
Jackier the episode, the better, as far as I'm concerned, and that's a really strong episode for him. And I love the today the crumbs, tomorrow the loaf, maybe one day the whole damn boulangerie. That makes me really happy.
But yeah, no, literally, I cannot in any way segregate Black Sails.
Is there a favorite? Do you have like a favorite sequence? A kind of
I really liked when they come back into Nassau and they run into all of the sunken boats.
Yeah,
the sunken ships. That was, and like, I did not see that coming, and it was just like, what the hell is going on? Which is somewhere in season 3.
I think that's the beginning of season 4.
Maybe even,
because they've been at the Maroon camp and then they come back.
Which, probably is most of season 3.
Billy's on the
Nassau.
Or the end of season 3, maybe.
Yeah. But it's the thing, like, I don't even know where that stuff is, because it is, as you say, it's so ongoing. It's like one thing flows into the next thing. But I did like that just as a moment. So whatever episode that's in. What's next?
The character you hate the most and why?
I really hated, oh God, what's his face? Evil pirate that turns up with the girl.
Ned Lowe.
Who just like,
he was really grim.
He was really grim. He was really despicable, but also I just didn't want him to be in my television show. Because, Blackbeard's pretty grim.
Teach is not, it's not grim in the same way.
He's a big grim. And then, what's his face? Englishman. He's uber grim.
Wood Rogers. Yeah.
But they have a purpose. Whereas, I mean, obviously Ned Love had a purpose, but I just didn't want him on my screen anymore. I was so happy when they cut his head off.
Yeah, no, I was quite happy when they cut his head off. He's not in it for very long, though.
No. But you don't know that when you first watch it.
That's true. And he is just like a basic villainous antagonist. So it's quite, you are supposed to hate him. I found Israel Hands quite tedious. I didn't get on with the Israel Hands thing very well. I found him quite tedious. And I wasn't supposed to. He was a character I was supposed to find kind of interesting. And
which is worse.
Yeah.
But I did not like Ned Lowe. Who cut his head off?
Charles Vane.
I was hoping you'd say that.
You knew you liked him for a reason.
Yeah.
And he comes and he jumps across the table. It's cool.
Puts on a pike.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
Yeah.
Ned Lowe was disgusting, but kind of one-dimensional. Woods Roger makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Also Berenger. Who's Berenger?
Berenger is the lead army guard dude who hangs all the pirates.
Yeah.
Played by Toby Stevens' brother, Chris Larkin, just for
a
bit of trivia there. Yeah.
Sweet. But yes, Wood Rogers is like...
I liked him on my TV show.
Yeah,
though.
totally.
I thought he was interesting and really...
He had stuff going on.
Yeah, really impressively nuanced, and surprising. Like, I genuinely didn't know what he was going to do.
Yes.
And nothing he did seemed uncharacteristic or unreasonable or out of step with what he wanted. Like, he was doing some really wacky stuff. But I was like, oh, actually, no, that all makes perfect sense from where you're sitting.
I kind of see your point. I don't
understand.
agree with your point, but I kind of see it.
Right.
So now is let's invent a drinking game, which obviously we won't invent an entire drinking game. But what would get you hammered?
Drink when they drink.
Just the most basic drinking game rule.
Right. Also, if you were going to raise a glass for deaths, which quite a lot of drinking games include, that would get you hammered very, very quickly.
It's also just like, like when we end up with Merlin, when we did a Merlin drinking game, and there's like, an army of horses, and you just continuously drink because you can't count them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be if you did the death thing.
Yeah. You could also do quite a cool drinking game rule that would get harder as you got drunker because you'd forget to catch them, about like Greek myth references or literary references. That would be quite cool.
Yeah, not once you're drunk.
No.
Yeah, that's not happening.
You'd have to kind of track them first so you knew when they were coming.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, no. Well, I think generally just references to either real life pirates or
real life pirates. That would be cool. Yeah.
That could be a good one.
Historical pirate reference.
Like drink for a fictional pirate and shot for a real life pirate.
Yeah, you'd have to have a list
of pirates.
Yeah.
Yes, not the drinking game rules. It's like generally you do.
No, a list of pirates.
So there's a start for anyone who wants to come up with a drinking game.
Yeah.
The characters as animals. Your take.
Jack Rackham's a fox.
I like it.
And Max. Max is a cat.
I had that really good fan art where someone had done all the Black Sails characters as animals, and I
showed
you,
dogs.
And you didn't like it because
weren't they just Black Sails characters as dogs?
Maybe they were all dogs. I don't know, but it was awesome. He didn't like it because they were rabbits. They don't like it when they're rabbits.
I don't really understand the fan art where you draw them as.
You don't get it.
I would have had more time if they were individually assigned animals, though.
They were individually assigned breeds of dogs.
Yeah. That's less troublesome than... I really don't understand when you're like, why is Flint a rabbit? What is rabbity about Captain James Flint?
It's like I don't really have an answer to this question, but I know that Flint definitely is not a rabbit.
Yeah, it's not a rabbit.
Definitely not a rabbit.
Who else have I got an immediate answer for? Yeah, Rackham's a fox.
It could also be a ferret, though.
Max is a cat. Some kind of big fluffy thing that looks like it's
like a Maine Coon fluffy thing.
Yeah, big fluffy, looks like all soft and spoiled and harmless, and then has
eat you
nasty claws.
Flint is not a rabbit. Why is Flint? Shark.
Billy's like a Great Dane or something.
Beginning Billy. No, end Billy.
After that, he's a Great Dane who's been beaten savagely. Yeah.
He's like a Great Dane that's come out of the war.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh God, like one of the 9/11 dogs.
Oh. Don't make it real life.
That's what Billy is.
Poor traumatized
So sad
puppy.
about Billy. What is Flint other than a shark?
Other than a shark. It's always a snake.
A ferret's like a snake. A ferret is like a cat or snake.
It's like a honey badger or something.
Wolverine. No, I like honey badger. I guess the thing about honey badger that doesn't quite work is that he doesn't actually look sweet.
He's not used to.
James
McGraw was all sweet,
1705,
tidy with his buttons all shiny and his queue all tidy.
We don't spend a lot of time in 1705.
No.
Wolverine, I'm okay with Wolverine. There were some characters and some animals. What's next?
Your OTP and their song. Flint's a misunderstood murder puppy. Say that to his face, I dare you.
He's a misunderstood murder puppy.
Yeah. Emphasis on the murder, though, right?
Murder. I mean, Jack and Anne, I have no idea about their song. My Immortal by Evanescence.
I'm awful at the song thing.
Yeah.
It's like the minute you ask me about a song for anything,
You've never heard music.
Every song I've ever heard goes completely out of my head.
Every time they do that to famous people in like interviews and conventions, it's like, sit down. Don't. That's horrible. And they just go, "You're my Waterloo." It's the only song I know.
Yeah.
Dancing Queen. There you go. That's what Flint is. It's Dancing Queen by ABBA. I'm assuming yours is also Jack and Anne.
It depends on what you mean by OTP, I guess.
The best two people ever. Ruth is now Googling a list of songs.
No, there's a really cool fan video to the song Glitter and Gold.
Okay.
Which is like one of my favourite fan videos of all time. It's so cool.
Oh, it's a good song.
It's a good song. I can't think that it's directly applicable to any of the pairings in the show. But go check it out because it fits really nicely. It's really cool.
Is it a fan video of the show at least?
Yes, it's a Black Sails fan video, but it's not like a ship fan video.
Right. Gotcha.
It's just a fan video for Black Sails.
And a good tune.
And it's a good tune. And the tune and the fan video, it's all really nicely done and I like it a lot. But that's the best I've got, I'm afraid.
Favorite manifestation of facial hair?
Jack's sideburns are pretty freaking spectacular, aren't they?
I mean, look, you can't not mention them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it. I think everyone else just has beards, really. They're either like beard or no beard.
Blackbeard has uber beard.
Blackbeard has uber beard.
But it's also just a beard.
Yeah.
Like, if you can grow a beard, you can do that.
Yeah.
Whereas Jack's, that takes effort and dedication.
Time, energy. Yes, Jack's sideburns are indeed characters of their own. Yeah. Yeah.
He's probably named them. I must say, having seen Toby Stephens clean shaven, not just like in flashback, but in real life, it's weird. It's like a turtle out of its shell.
He looks very different. I think it's because he's quite a pretty man.
Mm-hmm.
He's quite like a, fine-featured, pretty man, and so he doesn't look quite so fearsome sans beard.
Yeah, like he just doesn't do the ruggedy pirate thing, and therefore it's weird.
He holds his face so differently to play Flint.
So we saw him in a play, and again, it's one of those moments where it's like, well, there's only 4 people on the stage, so he has to be that one, but I couldn't have picked him out of a lineup.
Yeah.
But I like the beard on him.
His beard, I think, does a lot for the physical performance of Flint. And it makes it very impactful when he takes it off to be McGraw. McGraw is who he is before Flint.
So the television show tells me.
Which play did we see him in? We saw him in A Day in the Death of Joe Egg, which was really, really good.
Just a little bit harrowing.
Quite harrowing.
And then we crossed the road next to him.
We did.
And that was weird. He was on the phone just there.
He was just standing just right next to me as I was crossing the road.
Just doing the talking.
On the phone.
Doing the talking.
And I didn't say out loud, "It's Captain Flint," but it was a near thing.
Also, it didn't help that he was on the phone doing the talking. It would have been rude to interrupt.
It would have been. And he was like walking really purposefully down the road towards.
He was clearly late for a thing, which seems mean because he was in a play.
He was, yeah.
There wasn't, everyone knew what time
it was also,
the play would finish.
He was out of the theatre, changed, ready to go home before we were. So he must have legged it.
He clearly was late for a thing. There clearly was double booking in his life. Yeah. Your unpopular opinion?
I don't know if I have one. I don't really know what the popular opinions are.
No, I mean, I have no idea.
So
I have spent exactly no time in the Black Sails fandom.
Other than looking at the pretty pictures.
And so I know very little about what is an unpopular opinion.
I don't know how popular Israel Hands is. Maybe my not liking him is unpopular. I don't know. No, I don't know. I don't really have an unpopular opinion. I don't know. If anyone wants to give us a popular opinion, and then we can decide whether we agree with it or not, we could try that. But
not enough people watch Black Sails.
No,
but that's in the Black Sails world, that is not unpopular.
The world of Black Sails, that is the most popular opinion.
And outside the Black Sails world, the people aren't watching it.
Quite.
Yeah.
Quite.
What's next?
The most impressive fight scene.
I think Anne's in the boat.
That one's really good. I really like, as far as like a large scale fight scene is concerned.
The Flint rescue.
The Flint rescue's good. But when Jack and Anne are sailing with Teach and they end up on Roger's boat, and Anne's in the vanguard, you get all of those beautiful shots of her swimming in the water and coming out of the water. And I love watching Toby Schmitz in fight scenes. He's just so chaos tigery. It's brilliant. But there's just so much stuff going on. It's so characterful, and there's some beautiful stuff between Jack and Anne happening within the fight, and they manage to make it like narrative and characterful, but they're still 100% committed to the fight and the action, and it's so beautifully blocked, and they really use the like different levels of the ship, and there's people coming out of the water and people falling back into the water. It's just like, God, that must have taken a lot of time, and the blocking is impeccable, and still you're managing to land character beats in the midst of all that. That's really impressive.
Yeah. I also, I guess on that note, I also really like Jack's fight. When they clash with that other boat and they decide that they don't want to have a full out
the Goliath.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, his first day as captain.
Yeah.
Yes, that one's good.
That is a good fight.
Yeah.
And it's a bit where you can literally blow him over with a feather, but he wins.
Otherwise, Flint and Silver doing the training sequence.
Oh, that is cool.
In season
the flashback
4.
training.
Yeah, the flashback training sequence with the leg on and the leg off and the crutch and the...
See, I watched this show. I know stuff.
I know you did.
Yeah.
That I really like too. But that's more about their performance rather than the actual fight sequence.
It's also, you really, again, like you can't have a show like this without that stuff being good.
No, totally.
Otherwise it'd be an awful show.
Totally.
But, all of the fight on boats, it's like, oh my God, the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I do like it every time. You just got pirates going from one boat to another boat.
Yeah.
It's also a bit with like just, when they throw the net over and then they're just jumping and they're all like, little bugs.
Well, I like also that it really makes the most of the fact that they built physical boats. It's the bit where you can really, it's like, my God, those are actually 2 physical boat sets that they've got.
Well, and also all the times when they smash bits of boats.
Right, yeah. That they're actually utilising the really impressive set that they built.
When the man of war smashes the walrus into smithereens, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big action person, but
the poor boats.
Yeah, the poor boats.
Poor pretty boats.
They also have feelings.
Yeah.
Favorite piece from the soundtrack? I've got absolutely nothing on this. I don't do music. You're My Waterloo by ABBA.
That's not a song by ABBA. You do know that, right?
I have no idea. I just told them I don't do music. It's just Waterloo.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Waterloo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bit was good. That was a good tune.
I don't know. It's really well scored, the show generally.
Actually, no. Screw everything I just said. The theme tune.
I mean, the theme tune, yeah. Yeah, the hurdy-gurdy. Indeed.
Is that what the theme tune is?
The hurdy-gurdy is the instrument that makes the noise.
Oh, the cat's in the bag.
That noise is a hurdy-gurdy. There's a drone piece of music that they do with the hurdy-gurdy, and I think that it appears several times, but this is really like low drone sound that they do, which always struck me as really impressive every time they did it. I know they do it specifically at the end of season 2 when Charles Vane and his dreadlocky pirates are swimming through the reeds towards the walrus, or is it towards Flint's ship?
The super speed swimming. Yeah. It was not the walrus, is it?
It's the Spanish man of war.
Isn't it Vane's ship? Isn't it the
No, it's the Spanish man of war.
Okay. What's Vane's ship called?
The Ranger.
The Ranger.
But they use it in that sequence. It's like their sneaky, ominous music, but that piece of music, which they use several times, is really striking. The Parsons Farewell is the only song in the soundtrack I know by name, but it's so good. I don't know what that piece sounds like.
Where was it used?
I will look it up afterwards. There's also a little bit in the tavern right at the beginning where they play the Sky Boat song, which, considering I also enjoy Outlander, and Bear McCreary, who does the music for Black Sails, also does the music for Outlander.
Right, okay.
The Sky Boat song is the theme tune of Outlander, and is also like a time appropriate, historical period appropriate song. That makes me happy. It's a musical beat that makes me happy.
Fair enough. Parsons Farewell is amazing, makes me want to leave anything behind and go on the account.
We'll go and listen afterwards.
We know nothing.
I'm really bad with soundtracks generally.
Also, like, I mean, back in the days when CDs were still a thing, like, I actually bought quite a lot of soundtracks. And when you could get the soundtrack of a movie and then you could get the score of a movie separately.
Yeah.
The OST.
Yeah.
That probably wasn't called the OST in English.
I don't know.
In German, I don't know, it was like the German for soundtrack.
Original soundtrack.
Oh, yeah. That's okay, fine. That was a thing. But I was just saying in German, it was just like, have you bought the soundtrack? Have you bought the Ost? And no one knew what an Ost was, but yeah. So when they leave for the Urca, okay.
But it's really beautifully scored. But my tendency is, if the scoring is speaking to me like emotionally and tonally the same way the scene is, I tend to ignore it because
then you
it's
can't
all
tell.
Just sort of part of the texture. So I'm just really bad at, unless I go through specifically listening out for scoring, I'm really bad at hearing it.
Right, we're on the last 5 questions.
Okay.
One thing you'd change?
Billy's arc, I think, is... Tom Hopper does really, really well with it. And I think where they land him in season 4, it's more or less consistent and good. I feel like his descent into that is a little abrupt. I think they could have paced that out across the 4 seasons a little better.
It's also, I have never read Treasure Island.
Yeah.
So I really didn't need Billy Bones to end up at that point for it to match up with Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And therefore, I really wish he hadn't.
I mean, I think he did need to end up there. That was where the story was always going to
But
end.
I didn't like it.
No, I know. But I think it felt to me like Billy went through a bit of an abrupt transformation. It's one of the only things in the show that I think is not just like, because the show is so, generally speaking, impeccably paced. It's so authored. It's so chapter by chapter, scene by scene. It's so carefully paced.
Sort of, they left him in Nassau and then there wasn't any contact, and therefore you can kind of have him do whatever you need him to do.
Yeah.
And we just fill in the blanks. But I didn't want to.
But I just feel like that could have been a little more fed backwards into season 3, just to make it feel a little less abrupt when we come back in season 4, and he's just not the same.
Murder puppy.
Yeah.
Trauma puppy. A question you would love to ask the cast, crew, creators. What's up?
I think generally I would really like to know whether they knew the whole story when they started.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they actually, because I know they knew a lot of the story before they started, and I know they knew kind of where they were finishing it, which is obviously the most important thing.
Yeah.
And I think they had seasons 1 and 2 completely written before anything else.
But it would be really interesting just to kind of know what came as a surprise to you.
Right. But just like, was this something that you had in your head and you knew exactly where everything was going?
Kind of how much of the astonishing plotting of this show is down to the fact that it was all plotted all the way through and you knew, rather than being surprised halfway through.
Were there things that you added in unexpectedly or took out unexpectedly, or things that changed direction because of a performance or because of a character dynamic or whatever that you really, really didn't see coming? Because everything feels so tight in the production that I totally believe that, like, John Steinberg just had it all in his head exactly as it, exactly.
But even if he did have it all in his head, the question is, did he tell everyone?
Right. But also it's like, but that's impossible, because you can have as much in your head as you like, but until you get Toby Stephens on set doing the thing that he's doing, and you get Luke Arnold behaving the way he's behaving, and you get those characters interacting with each other, and then it's impossible to know exactly how things are gonna go.
Yeah, but also you can have it all in your head, and it doesn't mean that you might only have 10% of it written down, and therefore you can't show it to people.
Right.
Yeah. Favorite ship, as in a boat?
Has to be the Walrus, really, doesn't it?
I mean, emotionally, I completely agree, it's the Walrus. Practically, one of the main reasons that I was reluctant to watch Black Sails or watch any television show taking place on a boat is that I really struggle with boat stuff.
I like
stuff on a boat. Like, I like boats. They're very pretty, but once they're on television, I find them very hard to navigate and tell apart and know. You got like boats fighting each other. It's like, I don't know which one of those is the good boat or which one of them is a bad boat.
Yeah.
So I have very little differentiation between boats in my head. But emotionally, absolutely the Walrus. Of course it's the Walrus.
Yeah.
Something that Black Sails inspired in your life. That scarf.
My scarf. I think it upped the stakes for me in understanding how television could work. Like, I think genuinely, it's like, if these people have put these 4 seasons together and it's one story and they have told it impeccably over 4 seasons, and then they've stopped because they finished telling their story, there is really no reason why everybody shouldn't be doing a very similar thing. Like,
quit while you're ahead and figure it all out at the start.
Like, think about it, because turns out you can totally do that, and I'm not sure why everybody else has been not doing that,
dossing about for the last 200 years.
Slight exception made for long form episodic series. It's like kind of the point of something like Criminal Minds or whatever.
As it goes on forever, and then it develops, and
and
also that you can just have a turnover of characters and it just continues.
But if you're telling one story and you're telling one story over a number of episodes, it seems to me that there's really no excuse for not having a full plan, or at least most of a plan for how you're doing that.
Well, I remember like this when I watched Roswell for the first time live on television when I was like yay big, and then it was cancelled and I'd also lost interest, but I kind of wanted to go on Wikipedia and check how it was meant to end, and kind of finding out that those writers of what they're doing. Like, how could you not have an end goal for this? Like, how did you write this story and you were just going to see what happened?
Yeah.
And then figure it out as you went along. And, we all saw what happened at the end of Roswell. It was bad. They didn't figure anything out and none of it made any sense.
Yeah.
And that kind of blew my tiny mind at, age 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
And made me realize that all television works like that. And I think Black Sails very much made me realize that maybe not all television works like that.
Especially in this modern age of like effectively treating television as like 12-hour movies. That we live now in a world where quite a lot of television is produced as 12 or 10 or whatever hour-long episodes that are going to be released all at the same time.
And like the same quality, and
it's not episodic. You're filming it in a block because you're going to release it in a block. There is no excuse, if that's what you're doing, for not having one story that you're telling in exactly the same way as you'd write a novel or write a play or write a feature film. If that's the way you're going to make television, then that's the way you should plot television. And it kind of astonishes me that more people
don't do that,
aren't doing that. And certainly Black Sails made me look at it and go, this isn't just possible over the course of one season of television. This is possible over the course of an entire series of television.
A whole show.
And they could do it with a cast of characters that was like 50 people strong, and with boats and with history and, you know, across however many different like geographic locations, not just sets, but across geography. And like, if they can do it and make the boat bits look real, then you can certainly do it setting your drama in Toronto that's supposed to be New York or whatever. Like, no excuse.
Back off, Shadowhunters.
Well, no, whatever. But like, you know, just there's no excuse.
No, absolutely.
There's no excuse for not doing it.
And on a complete downer of an end note, what character death made you cry? I didn't cry watching Black Sails.
No, neither did I. The things that made me cry or the things that made me emotional were not deaths. There were no deaths that made me feel like the deaths that I felt were shocking rather than like I was surprised by Miranda's death, and that was like obviously quite hard to watch. But
it was also very quick.
It was also really quick, and there wasn't much time to linger. Whereas,
I was, that was proper moment. But that's literally how long it took for that to happen and be gone.
A lot of Anne's storyline made me really emotional. A lot of Anne's stuff with Max and with Jack, and the way in which Clara Paget handled all of that. How quiet it was. How quiet all of that stuff was. A lot of that made me very, very emotional.
I think, honestly, you and I are going to be partners until they put us in the ground is probably the moment that gets me closer to tears.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I don't have a death that
I got a little welled up the first time watching the very end with Flint and Hamilton. I got a little welled up. But yeah, I don't think there's an individual death that makes me cry, not in the way that other deaths in other shows might make you cry. It's also
we really don't linger on a lot of deaths.
No, well, kind of the point is that things sort of just continue.
Well, that a lot of the deaths happen because everyone's in a pinch or stuff needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we just we don't have the fanfare for it. So that's that. There was 31 questions about Black Sails.
Does anybody have any follow-ups? I think Diana asked something ages ago that I skipped past because we were in the middle. Diana.
Oh, how do we feel about the
asked about the end. How did you feel about the end? What was your takeaway from the end?
I mean, I thought it was kind of perfect in a slightly little bit fairy tale-y, but
did you take it as being that's what happened?
Real or not? I really like the fact that, as Silver says, it doesn't matter.
I think the fact that it exists
I love it.
in a liminal space is really, really important. Yeah. Like the story is true, the story is untrue. Like it's both of those things.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. I just think it's so clever. And yeah, the fact that, you can absolutely debate back and forth whether it's true or not. But the point is that it's all a story.
Yeah. I think for me, I've never been conclusive about it one way or the other.
But I've also never questioned it.
No, it's never
just because
been something that I wanted to have, like,
to figure out.
That's what I think.
But also, like, this is the story that Black Sails wanted to tell me,
Right.
and therefore that's the story they told me.
Right.
And I'm not going to question any of the rest of it, so I'm not going to question the end of the story they're telling me, and I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess in answer to Dan's question, very inconclusive.
Yeah, but that's kind of
the glory of it.
The lack of clarity is sort of where I like living in the ending. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions that we should answer, or things that they would like us to talk about? Cat guitar.
Cat guitar. Well, I think honestly we've been here long enough, and also I believe that there might be mac and cheese in our near future. Ooh. So I think we should probably let these lovely people go. Oh. I don't know, I could just scream about Flynn for half an hour, but I don't think he'd want that. I mean, we always want that. But I also kind of want mac and cheese because I've been painting all day and I failed to eat the lunch.
Fair enough.
So I think we should probably call it.
We do deserve mac and cheese. Thanks,
Yay.
Becky. I think we deserve mac and cheese.
And it's gluten-free.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us, everybody.
Yes.
We love this show. Go watch this show if you haven't seen all of this show.
And also, fly the flag.
Really, really good. Yes. Yes. And if you would like one of our
look
scarves,
at my special effects.
you can have one of these scarves, just to remind you, as for your very own.
This is a little promoter today.
Yay! 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 That's
you made someone watch it.
I mean, lots of people watch it. Vicky watched it.
Yes.
Vicky watched it. I'm very happy.
You're a one-man Black Sails trumpet.
I am.
Yeah.
As is every Black Sails fan, I feel.
Afterwards, this is the thing. Like it's like a pyramid scheme.
Yes. Yes.
But of awesome.
Yeah, I've now brought in like 3-4 people.
And they each go out into the world.
They're each gonna go bring out 3-4 people.
And yes, Juniper, you absolutely need to go and rewatch Black Sails now. I think we might be due for a rewatch. We are very close to finishing our Queer as Folk rewatch.
We are. It's a very different vibe.
But it does, once we're done, frees up time for another show.
I think by the time we're finished, though, it might be too nearly Christmas, and then I'll have to rewatch Christmas things.
The Vicar of Dibley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
thank you so much for joining us, everybody. This has been super, super fun.
And we shall see you back here in November.
Yes, for another live.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll continue to talk about Black Sails all over the place in everything we talk about, because I think it's awesome.
Because it's a pyramid scheme.
And
or
I have
like
yet to
one
make
of those,
quota.
You know, we've went to my what?
Quota.
Quota. It's like one of those. I mean, there's also a pyramid scheme, but you know, like when you buy like the Nutribomb.
Yes.
And then you become a sales rep for Nutribomb, and you have to make all other people buy the Nutribomb to also become sales reps for Nutribomb. It's like that, which I guess is just a pyramid scheme in modern times.
Yes.
But yeah, that's what Black Sails is, and also awesome.
Also awesome. Thank you, everyone. We will see you
later.
Bye.
Bye.